All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, here we go on the other side of the coin. Oh man, what a good victory. If you guys saw the preview, I actually said it'll either be 1-0 or 2-0. I was very, very confident that, we can keep a clean sheet, and that's exactly what has happened. Obviously, we're going to get into the match. I'm just ecstatic that our top four, chase continues. We've now built a bit of a gap against, 3-point gap against West Ham. And West Ham was the immediate team right behind us. So this is a huge, huge victory away from home. Kudos to Tuchel. Kudos to the team. Kudos to Timo Werner with the winning goal. So I'm going to have to get Taron a jersey sometime very, very soon, because I did promise him that we are going to have to get him a jersey once Timo Werner gets us a victory. But before we get into all of that, live chat, thank you so much for joining already. Do appreciate your support. Comment how you feel. And to all the people that are going to join throughout the stream and that will join post the stream, thank you so much for your support. And as you can see, I've got a glamorous lineup here already. Nishal, we've missed you, my man. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. It does feel like a while since I've been on, but always good to be back. And good to be back talking about a win as well. So looking forward to getting into it.
Brilliant. Taron, my boy, you were there for the preview. We had a very good preview. How do you feel now after the game?
Yeah, I actually predicted the right score, and I said 3-2, and it was 1-0 to us. So, I actually got that correct. But very, very good after that game. And Timo Werner scored, so absolutely over the moon. How are you, Miss?
Yeah, good, man. Good. Very happy with the win. You wouldn't have been wrong with that score of 3 for us, because we really should have scored more.
We should. Yeah.
We're just not clinical enough. Definitely, we'll talk about Timo Werner. There was a funny tweet from Dami who said, How could a man score a goal yet put a 5 out of 10 performance? Which is quite funny. Look, I don't think it was 5 out of 10, but that miss was unbelievable in the second half for his second goal. That should have been a goal. RJ, my man, how you doing?
4:30 a.m., 2 hours sleep, but pumped, absolutely pumped. So really excited. We spoke about it on the preview. This was a 6-pointer, and I feel really pleased with getting that result. And overall, just thought we, on the balance of things, earned that win. So very proud.
100%. Us Aussie boys, we do it tough. 4:35 a.m. I want to read out some of these comments for the live chat. Gabriel A, great result and good to see Tammy, but sorry to be negative. The miss at the end is more evidence Tammy is not up to it. The top players make a point when they have their chance. Look, we will talk about that. I personally think that came very quick to him, so I'm not sure how much time he had to react, and also think is not the greatest when it comes to heading. So we'll definitely talk about that. We've got here Deep State. Thank you so much for joining, Deep State. Turns out to be the most important 3 points of the season. Look, 100% it is. I'm not going to lie. But Taron's point, I still want to resonate in our last review against Brighton, that no point in winning this game and then not winning the next Premier League game, which is the Fulham game. So we've got to back this up. We've got to back this win with another win against Fulham, but 100% a massive, important game. Muller, CFC, big result, big result. If Liverpool lose to United next week and we win, we could be 7 points ahead, and they drew this particular week. So fantastic result for us. Before we get into the show, I'll bring this super chat as well. Thank you so much, Gabriele, for always supporting this channel. Great result. Oh, you pretty much commented the same thing, but with the super chat. Thank you so much, my man. Hopefully we've addressed that, but we will address it further down the track in the show. Boys, let's get into this particular review. I'll go to you, Nishal. Some initial thoughts, man. How do you feel? How do you feel about building up to the game? How do you feel about the game? And now, obviously, post-match, how are you feeling?
It was a very difficult game to build up to because, of course, we were in a good position going back into the top 4, hopefully maintaining our spot there. But on the other hand, we really needed to get that win. West Ham just a place off us, doing really well. And it was a crucial game and one we had to win ultimately. On the other hand, we look at Man City where we played really well, and then Brighton where we weren't good enough in attack, something we've seen time after time this season. But we did put in a good performance. Wouldn't say it was spectacular, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. The good teams don't need to perform 10 out of 10 and put in outstanding performances every game. If you can do well enough to get a 1-0, get the result and move on, that's enough. that's what we need at this stage of the season, and especially when the top 4 race is so tight, there's so much competition, and there's so much to play for across all 3 competitions. To get a win like this in a London derby, in a battle for the top 4, is brilliant, and you can't ask for anything more. So, we can very, very happy with the performance today, really pleased with what we've seen, and the attention will turn now to another massive game for our season against Real Madrid.
Oh yeah, Real Madrid game is setting up nicely, and I cannot wait. Honestly, I definitely wanted the win for the top 4 race, no doubt about that. But even more so to move into the Real Madrid game with a win behind us. And this one's going to be a grudge match after all the stuff that they've done. Their president over there, Florentino Perez, and 1-0. So big win. Taron, my boy, how you feeling, man?
Yeah, feeling very good. Tuchel put it quite well in pre-match to say, and this is a very big game, but it's not a decider. And I've mentioned that before. It was a very, very big win for our top 4 hopes. But West Ham have a very easy set of games. We have a hard set of games. So we need to go out with the same mentality and win them games. But yeah, nonetheless, a very, very big game for our confidence in terms of the run we have now against Real Madrid. All of these players will have a lot of confidence, a lot of energy, a lot of charisma to go into that game, knowing they've just beat a team below 1-0 away from home. What win this was. And yeah, I felt like the balance of the game, I know the commentator is saying we didn't deserve to win, West Ham deserved to win. We deserved to win that game, 100%.
Oh, really?
We created enough chances to win. Yeah. I think it was Chris Coleman, the ex-Wales manager. He was actually really getting on, but that's not important. But yeah, I think we did deserve to win, 100%. It was actually a very good performance defensively. I felt like we were really solid. We'll get into play performances a bit later. In the midfield, again, a very good performance in the engine room of our team. And going forward, a very fluid, good front 3. So yeah, West Ham, we'll get into the decisions, the red card decision and stuff later. But yeah, we deserve to win. And let's go into Real Madrid with a lot of confidence now after this huge win.
Yeah, look, to be honest, I'm not sure what the commentator was talking about, that we didn't deserve to win. I don't really recall West Ham actually producing a huge chance. Yeah, they were in control parts of the games here and there in the first half and second half. They were applying massive pressure with their press and whatnot. But I can't really recall where I can say, oh my God, they really should have scored there. Whereas us, clearly, Timo Werner, first half, there was an opportunity. Pulisic had an opportunity. Obviously, then we scored, and then Timo Werner in the second half definitely should have scored. Tiz, do you boys think we have missed cover in our last 2 to 3 games? Well, we'll definitely touch on that. Obviously, a point of discussion in the midfield. RJ, some initial thoughts, my man? You're on mute, RJ.
You're on mute.
Sorry, I was sorting out some audio technical issues, so hopefully you can hear me now. You covered large parts of what I had to say, but just a few things. I broke down the halves into my notes, and I thought on the balance of things, we did create more clear-cut chances, which was something I was quite something we were hoping to see this game, because one of the constructive criticisms we had was that we were defensively resolute and have been for some time, but the area of opportunity was around those genuine goal-scoring chances. So I thought in this game in particular, I thought we started off very brightly. That was something that I wanted to emphasise in the preview, as we weren't pragmatic in trying to work our way into it. Thought kicked off well, created a few. Mount actually got the start of it with his little shot, which was a nice little shimmy and turn. But I thought overall, West Ham were quite. They were deserving of this result. I think they probably respected us too much. And as a result, they weren't able to impose their game on us, and we nullified them pretty well. Even though Lingardinho, he had a few good moments himself, but nothing too crazy. So overall, a professional performance and a deserving tight, narrow win.
Yeah, for sure. Look, they definitely did respect us in certain parts, but I feel like we respected a bit too much as well. But we will get into that. In the whole thing about Azpilicueta being in the right wing back. I'm not really sure, but then there's some good arguments for it as well, which we'll talk about. Let's get into the lineup, guys. Let's talk about it because, it is interesting the way it's sort of shaped up. Nishal, when this particular lineup came up, I'll initially give you guys my thoughts. I was like, that looks pretty decent. And then I straight away thought, wait a minute, Christensen and Azpilicueta and Thiago Silva and Rudiger? I'm like, wait a minute, something's not matching up here. Where's Reece James? And then I saw that Reece James's name's in the bench. And where's Callum Hudson-Odoi? He's also in the bench. I'm like, well, who's going to be the right wing back here? Is it going to be Azpilicueta or is it going to be Christensen? And obviously, soon enough, we saw Azpilicueta in the right wing back position. But besides that, everything else, I think, quite spot on. We in the preview team yesterday, we thought it would probably be Kai Havertz up front, but Timo Werner, got the nod, obviously. And I can see why Tuchel uses him. It's purely because of the pace, his work rate. And he doesn't necessarily play as a centre forward. He pretty much drifts around from left to right. Tuchel definitely loves that mobility that Werner gives up front. Funnily enough, obviously he gets that goal from the center of the goal, which is fantastic. He can always find his way into the box, which we saw in the first half as well. But let's talk a little bit about this whole Azpilicueta right wing back, because I think that was the whole talking point in the lineup. Everything else, Mendy was confirmed by Thomas Tuchel yesterday anyway. I don't know. I personally thought, Nishal, that it's showing a bit too much respect for West Ham's game. Like, we're a bit conservative. Vince Footy, as you know, in Twitter, commented when I tweeted this that I feel like we could have used either RJ or Callum Hudson-Odoi. I would have preferred Callum Hudson-Odoi there because Christensen, Rudiger and Thiago Silva are three monsters at the back. That should be more than enough to negate their threat in set pieces. But he was sort of saying that, look, Callum probably just, Tuchel didn't want to throw someone like Callum because defensively, maybe he's not as astute as Azpilicueta. And the whole Reece James thing is that, he needed a bit of rest. I think he's been playing quite a lot and then he'll be back for the Real Madrid. How do you feel about that decision, Azpilicueta playing as a right wing back?
I was very surprised to see Azpilicueta as a right wing back. It's something where we haven't seen in a very long time, and rightly so. Not even as a right back as well, because we've seen him time after time be more exposed, be more vulnerable when he's on our right-hand side due to his pace and due to coming up against very difficult, tricky wingers. And seeing him in that position today, I couldn't help but feel a bit worried. Of course, always trust Tuchel, trust for decisions, but it was the first call I've seen in a while where I've really thought, I'm not too sure about this, especially when we saw on the bench, Reece James was there, Callum Hudson-Odoi was there. It wasn't a case of injury or team selection or anything of the sort. It was just a choice for Thomas Tuchel, and one which really confused me. I wouldn't have gone for it, and we saw him in the pre-match build-up speak about wanting height of a back with Christensen, with Rudiger, with Thiago Silva, which I understand. But then you have to ask, if we've got that height of a back, and we've got that defensive stability with Thiago Silva, did we really need Azpilicueta as a wing-back? On the other hand, he did play well. He put in a good game. I was impressed with him, but I wouldn't see this as a long-term option because we've seen in other games, Manchester City in the league in January is a really good example of why he can't play as a full-back or wing-back anymore. And it isn't a long-term option. Yes, he can play that if we need him desperately, if James is injured, if Hudson-Odoi is injured, but as an option we have now where we've got a fully strong, full-strength team, we've got all our options, and we know where Azpilicueta plays better, which is as a centre-back, it's not a risk worth taking, even if it's for height or defensive stability, because yes, we want Azpilicueta involved in the team. That's natural being on captain, but it's not the right choice for me. Today, it paid off and it was fine, but long-term, he's not a wing-back for me. Yeah,
and the whole height thing as well, completely get, defensively, he's far more astute, but I don't know if Aspi is like tall in regards for us to say height conversation. But you're right. He once again put on a decent performance, as he always does, as we've always said, 7.5 all the time. But I do also agree with this from Logan. Never want to see him there again, to be honest. He struggled. As we've said, he's not a right wing back. When you think about a right wing back, you want that person to be pacey. You want them to be able to attack that right channel. And I don't think he's always done that in that particular match. But maybe that was the tactic that Thomas Tuchel was going with in that particular match against West Ham. Taryn, just looking at this lineup again, obviously we didn't have Werner in our preview, but do we now see as a fan base why Timo Werner keeps getting the nod ahead of, players like Tammy Abraham and Giroud? I mean, there's a clear sort of distinct ideology that Tuchel seems to have with Werner, Pulisic, Kai Havertz, Ziyech, Mount. They're very mobile. So is it a surprise that we saw Timo Werner or not really from your side?
I think the main point that we were discussing in the preview was that, we need players who are good against low block teams. Timo Werner is not known as a guy. He needs space to get into the game. He needs a high line to kind of get his best attributes out of the game. We saw against City and Liverpool. But today I felt like the reason he was in the team was to kind of go one-on-one with Balbuena, go one-on-one with Ogbonna, use his pace on the turn. I saw it once we got past Balbuena. Like, he used his explosive pace and had a shot goal. I felt like that was what he was trying to do, and maybe trying to suck in West Ham on when they were trying to attack us. And I saw a few occasions where Timo Werner was trying to get him behind on the counter-attack. There was a ball when he got it and it was offside. Jorginho was failing to pick him out on a few occasions. Pulisic. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen Pulisic pass to Werner once. Honestly, he never passed him. I don't know what that is. But, I'll just talk to Pulisic after
That's
the
the
game.
thing about Pulisic sometimes. I feel like he's very good with the ball. He dribbles well, but doesn't look up for passes. But yeah, Karen.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Karen, are you there? Wi-Fi issues. Here we go.
Yeah. Can you hear me again?
Yeah. Oh, we've lost him again. We've lost Taran again.
At least it's not me for once.
Yeah.
I'll sub on.
Yeah, I'll sub you on. What do you think about the lineup, RJ?
Look, I have to be honest. We've gone through a preview, but the one caveat I'll make is that we know that Tuchel is good for springing surprises on us, so we shouldn't be too surprised with seeing some changes. But I have to admit that I was a little taken aback with Azpilicueta playing in that right wing back spot, and even though Nashal rightfully said he did perform admirably, as he tends to do as our leader, I do think there were moments in both halves where West Ham created a few half opportunities and created these sort of entries down his side, and had Frederick been a little bit more clinical or precise with his final ball, where he might have been exposed and it could have been more of a problem than what the end result was. It's no fault of Azpilicueta's. The guy's doing the best with what he's working with now, and that's not his natural position. But again, it's just, I can fully understand why Tuchel's rationale for picking him there and trying to balance that height at the back, and probably also having a bit of an eye on the Real Madrid game in terms of resting Reece James and etc. But I thought perhaps, Cho might have been a little bit of a victim here, and I thought he might have had an opportunity, because as we said in the preview, this was a game where I thought we could have used a little bit more dynamism against the team probably going to try to sit back and hit us on the quick counter. But I thought overall the lineup wasn't what I'd go with, clearly, based on our preview, but it got the job done, and we're just going to have to move on with that. So, yeah, good result.
No, 100%, man. Taran, you're back. Thank you so much. Your Wi-Fi is having a bit of an Ishal moment. You were saying something about the Timo Werner thing. Do you want to finish things off?
Yeah, I'll just kind of make my point about West Ham. When they kind of come onto you, they have three centre-backs who are not the most mobile. Balbuena, Ogbonna and Diop don't have much pace. So Werner was maybe used as a player to attack the three centre-backs. And I felt like that's why he was in the team today. Havertz can do that well. Giroud, I feel like when Giroud comes on, teams suddenly try to play further up the pitch because he's not known as a very mobile player. So, I feel like Werner, he runs the channels really well. And I need to say that Abraham's a very good player in the centre, but I feel like he doesn't run the channels as well as Werner. And, I think we'll get into Timo Werner a little bit later. But in terms of selection, it was purely the factor that he's a little bit quicker than the three defenders. I think we can all agree that. The front three are very fluid. And I think they did a very good job against, I think it was more one-on-one, three centre-backs against our three forward players. So, Werner did very, very well today, in my opinion.
Yeah, as we've all sort of agreed here, the front three up don't really have an issue. And we said it in the preview as well that it could be different to what we put out, and we'll be fine with it because we know that he looks for fluidity, and it could be either Werner, it could be the Kai Havertz, it could be Ziyech, and that's fine, absolutely fine. They all know how to do the job. But one thing's for certain, Tammy Abraham and Giroud, they're just going to be from the bench. I don't think Thomas Tuchel really relies on those two players to start the game. I'd be very surprised if Tammy Abraham starts against Real Madrid. Very, very surprised. I think it'll probably be, again, the similar sort of lineup, except maybe Kai Havertz comes in. whether that's for Pulisic or Timo Werner. Maybe Timo Werner stays and Kai Havertz comes in, or maybe it's Ziyech. Maybe it's Mount, Werner, Ziyech. That could be the situation there. I wouldn't be surprised one bit, and we could probably catch Real Madrid out. We'll talk about that down the track. Let's talk about the game in detail now. First half, second half. Nishal, I thought we were fairly in control most of the times. There were patches where West Ham did look like they were on top. The one thing I will say, West Ham pressed very well. First half, they did not allow us to build up from the back that easily the way we normally build up. And then they countered well as well. It's just they did not have that clinical sort of sense that they generally have with other teams. They just didn't have that. And I said that in the preview. Defensively, our structure is so good that we collapse back so nicely and we pretty much negate any sort of counters. But my issue still is, Nishal, is up front. We're just not clinical, man. I mean, it's hard in the mouth situation to always hope for that one goal to get you over the line. You know, you do want to start seeing putting 2, 3, 4 against teams like, West Ham, no disrespect. But that's my only issue, both in the first half and in the second half, not being clinical. How do you see the match, man, from your perspective?
The point for West Ham for us is very, very interesting because I said the exact same for Brighton. They pressed us really, really well. And not only did they do that successfully, but when they hit us on the break and had their chances, they looked like they were more likely to win and get all 3 points. Today, we saw similar effective pressing. It was very effective. It forced us to go back into our defensive shape and really pass around, find that break. But on the other hand, when West Ham did get the ball, they didn't do anything. And that was their loss. And while we weren't great or very clinical in our final third, neither West Ham. And that's why we got away. If Timo Werner hadn't scored that goal, it would have been a 0-0 again. And we would be having the same discussions as Brighton. We made good chances, we had our moments, but we weren't clinical enough. Brighton were good, West Ham were good, but they weren't clinical enough. But today, look, we can be happy with a win. We did well to come away with all 3 points, but the problem persists. And we say it every week in every game that we're not clinical enough. We don't take our chances. And It's not a case that we don't have good players. We have some of the best attacking depth in the entire league. We've got these world-class talents. We've got an array of options as well, from Hudson-Odoi to Ziyech to Werner. We have so many different options. But when we get into that final third, sometimes it's not taking our chances in terms of shooting. Sometimes it's poor decision-making. And these are little things that you shouldn't be seeing at the very top of a game and at this top echelon. So it's definitely something we have to improve on. I don't believe it's a personnel issue, to be honest. Yes, Erling Haaland coming in would get us a guaranteed 20, 30 more goals a game. But truthfully, I don't think the issue is the players. Maybe it's mentality. Maybe it's tactics. I don't know. But it's not players we have. We have some brilliant players. We've got Timo Werner, still got brilliant stats, got 20-plus goal contributions. Mason Mount contributing, Hudson-Odoi when he's there. So it's about really unlocking the best out of his attacks and finding who our best attacking trio is. We've seen Pulisic, Havertz, Mount, and they've been fantastic in attack. They've been really good. Tonight we saw another really good attacking trio, but we should have scored more. Werner could have had a hat-trick. Abraham should have scored off the bench. So I feel like the solution to answering our attacking problems and our concerns of not having a cutting edge or being clinical is finding what works for us. Who is the best front three in terms of creating chances, decision-making, and taking on chances? We've got time to decide that. For now, we need to finish the job, get top 4, hopefully perform well in the Champions League and win the FA Cup. And then in the next season, we reassess who's our best attack, who can bring the best out of each other, who links up best. That's a future problem, but one we need to address soon if we want to really be challenging for silverware.
Yeah, for sure, man. I've said it many times in my channel as well that the only thing that worries me now that we don't have that one striker that will go out there and just produce 20 goals a season. And you need that. If you want to win the league, you need... We're not a Man City where our midfield just scores like left, right, and center. So we can't just say that, midfield can step up. We are not there yet. Do we create a lot of opportunities? Yes, we do. But we've just not been putting away those opportunities in recent times. So I still think more than anything, there's lots of talk about center backs, defensive midfielder, which I think is still needed. But for me, a striker is very, very important. I completely hear what you're saying, Nishal, that we have the ability up front to score a lot of goals. These players can score a lot of goals, but I just need a lethal weapon up front that will just produce all of these situations like a Haaland or a Lukaku to put these goals away. Before we go to RJ and get his thoughts on the first half and second half, I just want to read out, RJ's just provided some quotes from Thomas Tuchel post-match. The boys are very happy. It was a great performance, an amazing result and deserved win for us. The last half an hour was excellent and the start of the match for a very long time was excellent. So very well deserved. It was very tough to play, but to hurt them with the ball possession was hard. We had a good mix between passing and counter-pressing. It reminded me of Atletico Madrid games because they had the individual and physical quality as well. David Moyes gives, under the circumstances, an impressively calm and considered verdict. We were in it. So this is David Moyes, basically. I didn't think we played particularly well, certainly in the first half, but we played much better in the second. We showed a bit of character and more desire, and we affected them more. But the red card changes the last 10 to 15 minutes of the game when we were hoping to put them under more pressure. I'm pleased the game didn't get away from us, but we're feeling a bit unlucky. Let's talk about that red card, RJ. I think that's an interesting point. I was kidding when I was tweeting out that send him off, get him out of here. I personally don't think it was a red card. I think he was just basically following up. I don't think there was absolutely any malice behind it. And I feel like that was a very, very harsh decision. And the crazy part is VAR couldn't make a decision, so they've given it to the ref. I just can't believe the ref also thought that there was malice behind it and sent him off. So what was your take on it?
Yeah, so it's an interesting one. My initial reaction was I thought it's one of those unfortunate situations where he's made a challenge and it's just the mechanics of the body that his foot had to land somewhere. I know, look, the Leeds Man City game, we had it recently, but the Leeds player got himself sent off. But I thought that was a little bit more reckless. Like he came in at a higher angle and came with a bit more force. Whereas I thought this one in particular, I just thought, yeah, in a slow motion setup, he's obviously planted his foot and he's got him pretty good, right? So I can understand that. But when you analyze it in real time, I just try to empathize. How would I feel if that was our team in reverse order? I would be filthy. And I can understand the perspective of why they gave it. But equally, I don't think, I agree with you, Miz. I think it was very harsh. But I just want to just focus on one bit of Moyes' comment. He said that, like, we showed a bit of character and more desire and we affected them more in the second half. But my response to that will be, well, yeah, obviously, because in the first half, Chelsea were the brighter in the first 10, 15 minutes. West Ham slowly grew into the game without creating any real threatening chances. And then they conceded the goal right before half-time. So naturally, it's a conclusion that you're going to come out with a little bit more purpose. So he's just making a given statement. And I thought on the balance of things, he was trying to say that they were in it and we were a little bit unlucky. But if he wants to be really objective, we had 6 chances on target, of which we should have put at least 3/4 of them away, whereas they had 2 shots on target that were quite meager, that were quite tame. So I don't think he's really been fully objective. So, and naturally because he's got a bias, but the overall harsh, probably red card, but I don't want that to be the focal point. They were losing 1-0 for the large majority of that match and weren't looking threatening. So I said that in my tweet. If he's going to be frustrated in his team's lack of will and desire to genuinely try and affect the outcome of the game.
I mean, look, as you said, he'll always be biased being the manager of that team and he'll always, look after the team. But as we've all said, I don't think they've really produced anything brilliant to cause any concerns for us. Comment here from Nishwan Al-Shamsi. Thank you so much for this comment. It's a red. He followed through and he knew what he was doing. Did he really know what he was doing? I'm not really sure. Let's go to Nishal. Nishal, obviously, you've got some thoughts about that red card.
Yeah, my thoughts are it is a red card, and it's as simple as this. Intent does not come into the law. Whether he meant it or not, it was a violent challenge. It was high up on the boot. It was studs up. He came in with force and violence. And whether it is intent, with intent, whether he means it, whether he doesn't, it doesn't matter. That can't come into the game. We see this debate every week, and it's really difficult because you shouldn't see a player, do something by mistake and be sent off for it because they didn't mean it. But there's nothing that comes into the law about that because saying something is intent or not is all subjective. you could say it's not intent, but the player might know exactly what they're doing and haven't done it. I don't think that was a case for Balbuena. I think it was an error. I think there was no bad intent, and he followed through with only, force. That's how it happens when you're playing football. You're naturally going to follow through as an athlete with your leg.
So what you're saying, it's like more reckless. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it's reckless, but whether there was intent or not, it doesn't matter. Intent doesn't come into the law. It had to be a red card. I'm sure Taryn will have another perspective on this being a referee, but from my perspective, I think it was a red card and it was the right decision.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Honestly, when you take the intent out of the situation, then yeah, it's a red card, isn't it? Taryn, what's your thoughts on that matter?
Listen, the only thing that I can say that could possibly make it not a red card is the fact that he didn't mean it. And as Nishal said very well, I'm sure Nishal must have secretly done an FA referee course because intent doesn't come into the matter. I generally 100% think that was a leg-breaking tackle, and I think it could be harsh. You saw Chilwell, his leg snapped inside, and he was on the floor straight away. I think he went through. He didn't pull out of the challenge, whether it was really quickly in game time. He's still gone into it, studs up, high up on his body. And I generally think, like I've already mentioned it, I genuinely think a leg-breaking challenge can never not be a red card. The fact that commentators are saying, nah, Chris Coleman, I don't want to get into this guy. He was so intent on it not being a red card. But 100%, if I was ref in that game, and I'm not saying just because I'm a Sunday League ref, I have all the rights to say this, but 100% that's a red card straight away. Whether he's gone for the ball or not, he still followed through, studs up, high up, and it's a leg-breaking challenge. Simple as that. I think that's definitely a malicious challenge. It's a red card. And Moyes and Chris Coleman could not have any arguments about that. 100% that's a red card. 100%.
Yeah, and looks like the live chat agrees with you guys, honestly. Pri is just saying that even if he doesn't mean it, that doesn't mean he can do reckless stuff.
Miss. I just want to caveat the comment, though. It's not about the intent angle for me. I think this is a physical issue that the game needs to deal with, because if you're playing at high speeds here, and are you going to now ask, like, I understand the follow through, but when you're again going 50-50, now are we asking players now, you're going to have to start pulling out of this and surrender the advantage, because now we have that risk that your foot, you can't just stop yourself in midair because the force, that's how physics doesn't work. I understand the angle of, well, he's followed through, he's caught him on the back of the calf, because that's what he's got. He's got him on the back of the calf, so it wasn't knee height or above that. So I 100% agree with that. But I honestly think they've got to review this in the off-season, because I just can't see that this is a contact sport. And I don't think in the spirit of the game that's something that I could, if there was a Champions League final and that was Chelsea and that happened and we examined it over and over again, I don't know. I fully understand why it's a red card in the laws of the game as they are, but I think that needs to be scrutinised a little bit more for me. I don't know. I felt like there's some red cards that are 110% crystal clear, and there's some that they're on the margins that make me think, does this seem fully justified? But totally respect your views on that.
Yeah, go on, Taryn.
Yeah, RJ, that's a great point you made. Also, I think that the way they put replays into slow motion, it kind of takes away the sporting motion of the game. And that's a point that maybe argues what I've said a little bit. But the fact that when they put the normal cameras on the game, it doesn't look like a red card. But the fact that they make it slow and you can see Chilwell's leg like bending inside, you can see
it was bad.
So, yeah, it looks really bad from slow motion. And that does take away. But I still think it's a high boot. And whether he couldn't take his foot away, it's a follow through. And yeah, I think it is a red card, but you're right. There needs to be some review. And there's a reason why fans are divided, because the rules are just so unclear right now in the Premier League. Even when I'm reffing, if someone just touches the ball a little bit with their hand, there's about 10 people surrounding me calling for a handball. It's so unclear for Sunday League refs, normal refs, people who are watching the game who don't really know what the rules are anymore. And the FA, the refs, even the refs playing the refs ref in the game, they don't know what they're doing it for half the time. So I feel like there definitely needs to be some kind of review with the refs, some kind of meeting with the Premier League captains as well. And yeah, definitely.
It's a really, really good comment here from Ali Reza. Thank you so much for this comment. Miz, can we also say Thiago's second yellow against West Brom was also a follow-through? He was blocking a shot. That's how I felt as well during that time, that it was a follow-through. Yeah, I did say that it was a bit clumsy. He shouldn't have gone in like that. But I thought that was a bit of a follow-through. But yeah, that ended up being red card as well, which is in line with what has happened here. So it looks like completely get what RJ is saying, because it's true. What's a player meant to do? If it's like we're telling them, do not play at your 100%, full throttle, hold back a little bit. But Nisha, you had something to say.
Yeah, the Thiago Silva incident is a very interesting one. I don't know if you remember me talking about it at the time, and I said it was a red card for the exact same reason. Intent doesn't come into the game. And aside from that, it's a really difficult thing about following through. Naturally, when you're playing football, when you're playing any sport, if you pull out, you risk injury yourself, and you have to go for it. That's how sports work. And it's an unfortunate caveat of a game where if you follow through, and if you make this tackle, if you make this block, you risk fouling, you risk injuring someone. That's part of a risk of a game. There's no way to avoid that. If you want to pull out and not make a tackle, fine. Yes, you have to do that. You have to go in to block a shot or clear a shot or make a clearance or anything. If you follow through and you commit a foul, that doesn't matter. Look, sure, it was unintentional. Sure, that wasn't your original intent. Sure, that wasn't the aim of what you were doing. But a foul is a foul. We can't be a spade is a spade. We have to say that. We can't differentiate between a foul and something that wasn't intentional, something that was an honest mistake. We have to be consistent. And part of that consistency is saying, if you have fouled someone and it is dangerous, reckless, violent conduct, it is a red card. That's the only way we're going to maintain this consistency, by staying on the same page, calling a spade, and staying consistent throughout all measures.
Yeah, I think, look, at the end of the day, we have to choose a particular line. I think that's what you're trying to say, Nishal, that it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Completely get what RJ is saying as well. But both you and Taryn are sort of saying that we have to choose a direction. And the direction is that we can't understand intent. We're not going to try and understand intent. What we're going to try and understand is that was reckless, hence red card. So enough about that. Look, I personally do think that that red card has sort of impacted. Look, they did not bother us too much in the match, but obviously with the man down, it's always going to be a bit difficult, and that gave us the edge in the last 15 minutes for sure, no doubt about that. Let's talk about the goal, boys. Let's bring this up. I love doing this, and I have to talk to my main man Taryn for this goal for Timo Werner. It's his man. We need to talk about it. This was a very, very good situation. I can't remember exactly where Pulisic was. I think Timo Werner was somewhere here. Maybe Pulisic was somewhere down there, and Mace was somewhere over here. And then Jorginho was further up, and then obviously Chilwell was in the wings over here. It was a great little play that we played. I think the way it started was Timo was over here in the midfield, and he gets the ball, traps it nicely, and then he lays it off to Jorginho, and then he shoots off to the middle. So the work rate from Timo Werner was brilliant in that particular goal. He was involved from the start till the end. And then Jorginho takes the ball and he drives here, and then he releases the ball to Chilwell. Chilwell then squares it and just goes in between many West Ham defenders, and Timo Werner with a nice tapping goal straight in front. Taryn, what was your thoughts, my man, when that goal was going on? And I remember you messaging me and letting me know in the group chat that Ms. Timo Werner scored, and get that jersey ready for me, my man. But yeah, talk me through that goal, man. How'd you feel?
Yeah, I felt obviously amazing. Timo Werner deserved that for all the hard work he puts in the games, the work rate that doesn't go noticed by a lot of fans. But yeah, all started from Timo Werner. Great hold-up play, dragging Balbuena out of the game and left space for Diop and Ogbonna to be exposed. And then played it to Pulisic, played it to Chilwell, almost like similar to Kai Havertz at Leverkusen late run, where he started from deep, then darted into the box with his pace. And can I just say, Chilwell, what a fantastic pass. There was about 4 defenders in front of him that could have blocked that. And it was inch perfect on Werner's foot. If he missed that, then I don't know if there was any hope for Timo Werner in the finishing department. But yeah, what a ball back to Timo Werner.
If he missed that, oh my God.
The jersey thing actually cursed Timo Werner, then I'm convinced. We cursed him for life, man. But yeah, no, what a ball back from Chilwell, and a great finish by Timo Werner. I have to give a lot of credit mostly to Chilwell for that amazing pass. We've had a lot of criticism about Chilwell that, he's not the best crosser. Marcos Alonso has very good crossing of the ball. And yeah, what a great ball and a great finish by Werner. He stayed composed despite all the criticism of his finishing from fans, from rival fans, from pundits. And he kept composed and did the only thing, smashed the ball into the back of the net. yeah, hopefully this goal has a confidence effect. Let's just forget about that miss. I know we're still going to talk about that, but let's try and forget about the miss. I think that was a very good goal. He started off the move and he finished it off. And I believe Jorginho won the ball back before that move to leave the space open for the counter-attack. So fair play to Jorginho. And yeah, great finish.
I'm pretty sure it was Jorginho that laid off the ball to Chilwell, right? We've got deep state here. I don't think that was
so,
Jorginho.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was...
I said
Pulisic.
Pulisic. Yeah, I said
It was
Pulisic.
Pulisic through to Chilwell.
Oh, was it? I looked like
Jorginho was involved in the build-up. I think Jorginho maybe played to Werner. I think that's what it was.
No, it was Kante. It was Kante.
It was Kante to Werner.
Yeah, I tweeted
I just thought Jorginho was there. Okay, it was Pulisic. Fair play. Okay, just looked very much Jorginho-like from the back. Let's go to Nishant. Nishant, I do want to say, the few positives about Timo Werner is that his movement is excellent, his work rate is excellent. Obviously, we'll talk about the finishing a little bit later because there was a clear-cut chance. But I can understand why Thomas Tuchel's persisting with this player, because even if you look at that first half opportunity that he had where Mount crossed the ball in and there was literally no one around him, yes, once again, the finishing has deserted him, but his movement to get into those areas is so excellent. He finds himself into juicy positions. Even that particular goal for Chilwell finds himself in a very juicy position when there was chaos going around with all of West Ham defenders everywhere. Do you feel there's a lot of positives about Timo Werner? I know we harp a lot about his finishing, but there are a lot of positives.
Absolutely. He's a really interesting player to analyse because on one hand, he's had a fantastic season. He's top with goal contributions. He's on 22 now, I think maybe 23 goal contributions for the season.
7 assists under Thomas Tuchel so far, which is pretty good.
And the numbers don't lie. The numbers show that he has performed well and he has had a really big impact for Chelsea. On the other hand, we've seen him. He misses so many chances. He lacks that final cutting edge in the final third. And we do see these different parts of the games. Today, deserved match winner, did really well to score. But what really stood out to me was his hold-up play. And that's something we so often praise Olivier Giroud for, and something which I always pick him out for saying, if we want a striker who's going to hold up play and be involved in the game, we pick Olivier Giroud. But to see Timo Werner doing that, not only doing that, but doing it so well against the defender, really showing his strength and his balance to hold that on, move a play on and get back into position, that was superb striker play. And that was really encouraging to see his whole involvement in the goal, from that hold-up play to moving into the box to being in a perfect position, seeing the ball come into him. That's what you want from Werner. That's what you want from a striker. And we speak about Thomas Tuchel persisting with him. He is our long-term option, and we know this. But I think one of the things we said earlier was that he needed a period just on the bench. Just let him rest, let him have some time to become fully fresh. We've got other options. And we've done that with Kai Havertz coming in a false nine, and now Timo Werner's back in the fold. Was it a perfect performance? No. He should have had 2, maybe even 3 goals. Even Taryn could admit there were too many chances which he missed. He didn't do well enough in. He should be scoring them. On the other hand, there are always positives we can take from him. We saw a great performance in getting the goal. He got a deserved goal. He broke his stock 2 months as well. So there are 2 sides to look at for Timo Werner. And overall, we can stay positive. We can stay positive and encouraged about what we've seen and what he's capable of. And it's really a case of letting him hit his stride, being fully refreshed, and when the new season comes, seeing Timo Werner at his absolute best for Chelsea.
Yeah, man, and he's been saying it, off field as well in interviews, and there's been quotes flying around that he acknowledges that he's been producing a lot of assists, and he's also said that I've hit the bar a few times, I've hit the post a few times, and the goals will eventually come. And he said that there were a few offside goals as well by literally millimeters where he's been offside. So he acknowledges the fact that those goals will come. And I just hope that this particular goal is now a start of something big. I really, really hope that. Guys, shout out to 65 people that are on right now. Please smash that like button. Helps the channel out a lot. So take the opportunity right now, hit that like button. And also check out my panelists and their socials in the description right now and follow them everywhere. Twitter, blogs, podcasts, a lot. RJ, let's talk a little bit about now some of the negatives about Timo Werner, right? No, I don't want to harp too much about it. Obviously, for me, he had a very, very good game, but there are some distinct sort of negative, and that is his finishing. For the first half, there was a situation where Mason Mount was in this particular zone. Very, very nice ball straight to Timo Werner. Mason should have got an assist there. Werner had literally no one around him. He had all the time in the world, and he had the ball in the half volley, which isn't always easy, but I tweeted that 9 out of 10 times he finishes that in the training. RJ, what do you think about that particular chance in the first half? Do you think that's the chance that Timo Werner, we paid the big bucks to get him into the team, for those sort of chances to be snapped up? Is that how you felt as well?
Yeah, I felt it's reflective of his confidence, because I thought you summed it up nicely. It wasn't an easy chance, but of someone of, in our opinion, potential world-class ability, is someone that you're expecting to at least hit the target and test the keeper a little bit, because we want a higher degree of accuracy. We want him to, if you're not going to score, we want you to bring out the best in the goalkeeper. But even there was another chance that he had as well from another cutback where I think he did the right thing in terms of controlling the ball and got himself, he swiveled the body and he just shanked it. And I thought it was a corner, but he just actually shanked it. I felt sorry for him, because in the moment he was so hell-bent on trying to work on his touch, which I know you're talking about negatives, but one of the real positives from my point of view is we've seen a marked improvement in his first touch and his general ball controlling ability. So big credit to him on working and improving his touch side of the game, because that's been an area of criticism. But just on the negatives, again, it was just that chance, the second one, because I thought in hindsight he probably should have laid it off to Chilwell, who was actually approaching the box and was only about 2 meters away from him. He was in a much better position to hit it first time. But overall, I just thought more positive than negative. He did miss a couple of gilt-edged chances in the second half. I'm sure we can think of one glaring one at least. But overall,
I'm going to go to Taryn for that. Don't worry.
Yeah, let's save the gravy for Taryn. But yeah, overall, even in the second half, he had a few good touches. And like Michelle said, to me, he's someone that's going to be on the long-term path for our club, and we've got to get behind him. And today, hopefully, is the start of that improvement. So fingers crossed.
Nah, for sure. I've said it to myself that it's time that we back the guy as opposed to keep smashing him for stuff that he doesn't do. Once again, RJ, thank you so much for the comments provided by you in regards to Timo Werner talks to Sky. The second chance I had to score, but to come back slowly with one goal is enough. To score twice today may be too much for the beginning. I love how he's humble like that. I really like it. No joking. Then he goes saying, no joking. I'm very happy that we won this game today. It's very important in the race for top 4. After waiting for so long, it's the best feeling to score the goal. It's really important for me, and I'm happy I'm back on the score sheet. Honestly, fantastic, humble. This is what I like about Timo Werner. He's very humble. But Taryn, we have to talk about that particular miss, which was, oh my God, I don't know what happened in that situation. I think Mace took a shot from here. I think Pulisic might have been on that side, perhaps. Mace took a shot from this particular area. Very, very good shot. A couple of good shots from Mason Mount from midfield, from long distance, which really troubled Fabianski. He took a shot. Fabianski fumbled it, and it falls here. And honestly, from this spot, he literally had the entire goal to himself. And there was no way I ever believed he could miss that. But he missed from this particular situation. I mean, what was your reaction? Because we all saw Thomas Tuchel's reaction. I want to see while you talk about that. I want to try and bring up that Thomas Tuchel's reaction, because I think it's circulating all around Chelsea football Twitter at the moment. But yeah, talk us through your reaction, my man.
My reaction was the exact same as Tuchel's reaction. How can you miss that after scoring such a great, important chance for our top 4 hopes? How can you miss that? I was so surprised he missed that. It was great. You know, the same thing as you guys are echoing. He followed up the chance really well, was in a very good scoring position again. And again, the confidence factor, if that's Mason Mount, who's in a rich vein of confidence right now, is in that chance, 100% it's going to be a goal. And I'm a bit surprised. I didn't think Timo Werner was actually a confidence player when he came to Chelsea, which I know a lot of people at Leipzig were saying he missed, but surely someone who scores 33 goals in the season cannot be a very much a confidence player. So, but yeah, I like to kind of, there's a reaction there. Yeah. Oh my.
Look at his face. Look, He's like,
He looks like he's just seen a ghost, man.
He is dumbfounded. He is absolutely dumbfounded that how do you miss that? Oh my God.
But just taking away from the chance, I just want to say the thing Nishal said about, I forgot to mention about his hold-up play today was really, I think he's improved a lot in his hold-up play. Today I saw a big improvement in the steps. The way he was getting really riled up next to all these strong, big defenders, and he was really winning the ball and helping counterattacks. Very impressive. And I think the thing about Timo that I like is in interviews, he's always saying, it's for the team. It's for the team. I'm going to pass because it's for the team. I'm not in confidence, so I'd rather pass and get a goal. He doesn't seem like a guy who cares that much about his individual form. As long as the team's winning and we're in the top 4 hopes, he's really happy about it. But yeah, that miss is, I'm going to say the same thing as Timo. He's got a very important goal. I think the goal is more important. We're back in the top 4 by 3 points now. A very, very important goal. And you surely can't think about the miss too much after that goal he scored. But yeah, 100%. I think I would have scored that. Like, very, very, very poor miss. But yeah, what can you do? Timo just scored a very important goal to win us against top 4 rival.
I just can't get over this reaction from Thomas Tuchel, honestly. This is a gold reaction. I think this will go down as one of the reactions to look forward to at the end of the season, where he's like, dude, I know a lot of people talk about you in social media, but today I think I kind of believe it. That was the reaction. But look, as you boys have said, overall, he's been fantastic. And I just hope that this is the floodgates opening up. We will talk about the man of the match right at the end. Live chat, let us know who your man of the match was. I was a bit undecided. I'm not really sure who really gets that man of the match. So let us know your thoughts, and obviously we'll comment on it down the track. Let's get straight into it, Nishal. Let's talk about some player performances right now. We won't talk too much about Timo Werner, obviously, because we already have. Mason Mount. Let's start with Mason Mount. I personally thought he was quite decent. A lot of people thought that he was giving away the ball a lot, which I think, there was an element of that. But I love his drive. I love how positive he is with the ball all the time. He's always looking to go forward. And his shots from midfield. I mean, there are no other players in our team that can take those kind of shots. And I felt like he deserved a goal from one of those shots. Could have got an assist in the first half where he cut that ball back for Timo Werner. Also, his shot should have led to another goal where Timo Werner, we just talked about how he missed. What do you think about his performance?
Mason Mount really impressed me as always today. And my main point that I say about him is he is the Cesar Azpilicueta of our attack. He's always consistent. He's always contributing, whether he's scoring or whether he's...
I love how you said Cesar Azpilicueta. Say it one more time, bro. Just one more time, please.
Cesar Azpilicueta. Spanish way. I've got to pronounce it right. And then just Mason Mount, not as exciting. But he is that consistency, but we have him back with Azpilicueta. And then that consistency, we have an attack with Mount. And that's a brilliant trait to have. Like I said, he doesn't need to be scoring a hat-trick every game. He doesn't need to be getting 4 assists every game. But having that positive influence, coming forward, creating chances, having attempts, that's what you want in an attack. And to have that for a player at such a young age is really brilliant. Now, what I don't understand is many people criticize him for not having a goal or an assist every game. Yes, his numbers aren't the strongest, but people will see that if he doesn't get any goals or assists, he's had a useless game. But that's not how he plays, and that's not how he has his influence on the game. We saw him against Brighton, for example. I feel he was really restricted in that double six and had an interesting debate about whether he's in the right position there. But when we see him unleashed further forward in attack, he's much more involved in the game. He had some brilliant chances today. That long shot forced a really good save from Lukasz Fabianski. Very unlucky not to score. Had some great drives and runs into the box, creating good chances, lots of good passes and movements going forward. And we see this every single game. Sometimes it feels like you're a broken record when you're praising Mason Mount and you're talking about him. But that's what we get with him. We know what we're getting. We get that contribution. We get that attacking influence that we need. And whether Timo Werner scored the winner or Hakim Ziyech or Callum Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount's always going to be involved in that manner. So I was very happy for his performance today, put in a great shift and another really solid showing in the heart of attack for Mason Mount.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. I know a lot of people are critical about how he's losing the ball. And I feel like a lot of people focuses on his things that he doesn't do in the match as opposed to looking at all the things that he's doing. And I feel like people are just now shoehorned in to negatively always believe him. But most people absolutely appreciates what he does. It's just a small minority. RJ, let's talk about Pulisic. I feel like he was on an upward trajectory, and this game again, kind of a bit lackluster. I feel like these are the kind of games where I want a lot more from Pulisic. The remaining sort of matches, he dribbles well. His control is very good. He draws fouls, which is fantastic. But I've always got the issue about where I feel like he doesn't lift his head up enough to see for those key passes. I think he's someone that should be getting a lot more assists. He gets into dangerous situations, he should be getting a lot more assists. Obviously, he does score. He's been in a pretty good scoring form in recent times, but I feel like he really should be getting into a lot more assists. How do you see his performance?
Yeah, he was one. The way I would phrase his performance is someone that wasn't a standout. Like, I thought he contributed positively, but I do agree largely with your sentiments, Miz, in the sense that we have high expectations because we know of the quality he can bring to the table, and we've seen it. So it's not just like a one-off performance here and there. We have a whole half of a post-lockdown season, plus the last recent games where he's really been getting in those more poignant positions and just really dominating the game. But I just thought, yeah, I was a little bit underwhelmed. I thought, again, contributed positively to an extent, but it was almost like he was getting a bit of a build-up and just couldn't quite follow through with the end product. It just felt, you know what I mean? Like, he linked up well nicely on the left-hand side with Chile and co. But I just thought, as opposed to Mason Mount, which Michelle covered his performance quite nicely, maybe that's probably part of the problem here, is because we're used to that relentless consistency with Mason Mount, and we know what we're going to get from him, and we get those short, sharp spurts from Pulisic. That's where we get a little bit frustrated, because we don't get that relentless consistency from him. So I think the overall, I was happy the fact that he got another 70 minutes from him, because physically that's the most number one question. Will he survive another game, a tough contest, because he's quite fragile? I think we can appreciate that. So the fact that he survived another physical encounter with a very tough team and contributed positively, but not to his best, gives him enough of momentum to at least go into the Real Madrid game and put this one behind him. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't like we walked away thinking, geez, that was a shocking effort from him. He was hopeless. He wasn't hopeless, but he just didn't do enough. Like you said, wasn't capitalizing on the great momentum he had built. But I'm not concerned, because I thought, yeah, I still pick him in my first team because I think he's a great player.
Yeah, of course. Look, he's someone who has that X factor. I've said it. He's probably the one player who's got that amazing X factor. Ziyech is probably the other one, but at the moment it just comes off
the dribbling, the pace. That's right. That's
yeah. And
the back post runs.
Yeah, he can get us those wins single-handedly, and I'm pretty sure Thomas Tuchel will persist with him moving forward. Let's talk a little bit about the midfield. I just want to bring this up. Jorginho, let me see if I can just enlarge that a little bit. Let's just do a little bit more. Okay, Jorginho stats versus West Ham: 70 touches, 60 passes, 25 own half, 35 opposition half, dispossessed 0 times, 1 out of 1 dribble, 4 out of 7 ground duels, interceptions, tackles, clearances, 6 recoveries. Boys, I thought he had a very good game. Obviously, in the second half, there were moments, as I said, West Ham, when they were pressing and counter-pressing at times, they did overrun our midfield. But, I'm not going to solely blame Jorginho for that, because you have an entire team to look after that. But once again, I thought overall it was a very decent performance from Jorginho and Kante. Taryn, what was your thoughts on both the double sixes in this particular match?
I will say Kante really stood out for me today. I think this reminded me of Kante under Antonio Conte, like the guy who's in the 95th minute making a driving run into the box despite keeping that really strong midfield quiet the whole game. I didn't realise Souček was in the game. Kante was jumping up for headers with Souček and winning them. He was stopping Souček from drifting into the box. Yeah, Kante, he covered every single blade of grass. He was absolutely superb today, I would say his end product could improve a little bit. Like when he has the ball, I saw a comment earlier, very, very early in the stream, saying Kante is a very, very good player. But this is my point. I've said it a lot of times before. The fact that Kante does so much apart from his end product, he's world class winning the ball back. He's world class intercepting. He's world class all these other things. So for me, I don't think we should rely on Kante for. It would be nice if he could obviously make that pass to Ziyech. You saw how annoyed Ziyech was. He collapsed to the floor and was so annoyed that Kante didn't pass that. I'm sure you had the same reaction, Miz.
No, the same reaction as well.
You went on the floor like this.
And that's the thing, Taryn. Like Kante, even in the first half, there was an opportunity where he got himself inside the box and he needed to cross it in, but he hit the first man and then went for a corner. And that's the thing. Kante gets himself into juicy position. And this is what I was saying to you last week or a couple of weeks ago, that Taryn, you're right. We should focus on all the things that Kante does, which is extremely efficient and fantastic for us. But I can't forget the fact that he gets himself into really good positions and we can't capitalize on those situations.
Yeah, that's what I've said, Miz. 100%. You put a spot on there. The fact about Kante's end product is a bit worrying at times, but he's never been a player who's known to, even under Maurizio Sarri, when he was playing that more advanced role, we've had Eden Hazard. That's the only thing now. We had Eden Hazard when he's playing that role, and now we have other players who are not firing. I say, I see why some fans are worried, but the fact that he literally kept Souček completely out of the game, he stopped Lingard from getting to the game, he stopped Bowen from getting into the game. Everywhere I looked, he was 1 second he was at the corner flag, the next second he was in our own box. He was amazing. His energy, you see the benefit that Kante has when he's rested for one game. When he comes back in, he's absolutely bundle of energy, and that's what the world-class player that Kante we love. But in terms of Jorginho was, I thought he was very good. He didn't lose the ball. I saw there was a stat that said he was dispossessed 0 times in the game. But he didn't lose the ball. He was very composed. Maybe I'd say at times, still, he doesn't make enough daring forward passes. I saw so many times that Werner was running, but Tuchel kind of echoed that we can't lose the ball in this game, in this press conference. We have to make sure we keep the ball.
Reduce the ball. He said reduce the ball losses.
Reduce the ball losses, exactly. Even when we saw players just getting the fouls to reduce the counter-attacks from Lingard. But Jorginho, very, very good performance in the middle of the park. And you see he's been very good with Kovacic. Now he's starting to look good with Kante. So, I'd say Kante stood out. But if you want man, I'd like to talk about Mason Mount a little bit now. I thought Mason Mount was literally amazing today. I genuinely thought he was. There's so much confidence running through him to take these long shots on. Amazing long shots, driving into the box, taking players on, creating chances. I'd like to bring up a stat here. He's created the 4th most chances in the Premier League behind Jack Grealish, Bruno Fernandes, and Kevin De Bruyne. So Mason Mount is clearly up here with his numbers in terms of the top elite midfielders. And it's a shame that Werner or Pulisic can't take these chances. But Mason Mount is seriously becoming a main player in this star-studded team. And I just want to see what he can do. He's 22 years of age. And if he can keep getting better and hopefully not get any serious injuries, then I think he could be one of the best players in this club's history. I really think he could. He's really, really impressing me at the minute. But Kante and Mount are probably our best players, I'll say today. Yeah,
man, I've said it that Mason Mount, MVP for Thomas Tuchel. He starts every game. Any big games or any matches, whatever, Mason Mount's the first one in the team sheet alongside probably Rudiger in defense. So Mason Mount, I've said it throughout the game as well. I was tweeting, the development is crazy. Honestly, I can see his development and it's absolutely crazy. But we can do a whole episode on Mason Mount. Nishal, you had something to say about Kante.
To return to a point of N'Golo Kante, asking Kante to have better end product is like asking Edouard Mendy to score more goals. Yes, it'd be great and it'd be a lovely addition, but that's not their job. N'Golo Kante does his job impeccably, cleaning up in midfield, dictating and controlling that midfield, breaking up balls and driving forward. He does everything he needs to do brilliantly. Yes, it'd be brilliant to have more end product and score more goals like he did under Sarri and even under Antonio Conte, like we mentioned. But at the end of the day, he's doing what we're asking him of, and I'm fine with that, to be honest.
Look, don't get me wrong at all, boys. I'm absolutely happy with Kante. It's just my only thing is, why is it him who gets into these juicy positions? Why isn't it someone else? Because I like him for all the other things, and I want him to be in those areas, but I wish it was someone else in those, sometimes he's in the box, sometimes he's in the end of a counter-attack, and I'm like, I wish it was just someone else as opposed to Kante.
You know what's funny though? Because I thought you had echo similar points to Michelle. It's almost like one of the things where Thomas Tuchel mentioned recently, where he's like 1.5 players. Like I felt like as if if he was just someone that did his job well and gave that defensive solidity and kept winning the ball back, but didn't try that extra step or have that unbelievable engine to get himself into these positions. Even like I was thinking about that Atletico game where he was basically Usain Bolt in the 94th minute. If he didn't have that energy, he wouldn't be on the same criticism. Like he wouldn't receive that because he would just focus on the area of the pitch which he is confined to. But I thought overall, I was most impressed with not just his work rate, which he does unbelievably well. It's the fact that in the second half, especially when we were under a bit of pressure, there was a couple of times when his first touch, control, stop, and passing it over to Rudiger or whoever it was, I felt the way that he's been able to dictate the tempo and to really take that, that maturity in his game and not just be an absolute destroyer. It's something that's probably a little bit underrated about him. And it's all comes back to his on the ball quality, because everybody talks about his off the ball quality, but I just think he needs to get a little bit more respect in that area. But that's just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, he's not that bad off the ball either. I'm just being nitpicky because I feel like he gets into juicy situations. But yeah, Taryn, you were going to say something.
Yeah, RJ, we mentioned, and Miz as well, we mentioned in the preview, the formation could also be a factor of this, though. We don't have the extra attacker to drive at players to whip in balls like Ziyech or Havertz. Kante is almost a player that's the fourth attacker at times, where we kind of rely on him. And we shouldn't have to rely on Kante. He should solely be in the team to be the world-class breakup of play, the world-class French gladiator that he is.
No, spot on, man, spot on. Shout out to the live chat. Almost 100 people. There was at least 110 just a moment ago. Please smash the like button. Helps the channel out a lot. Please take the opportunity right now. Hit that like button straight away if you're enjoying the review. We're going to talk about one more juicy thing before we continue with the player performances. So stay tuned for that. I want to know what your thoughts are. And also with the panel, guys, go and follow them. All of their socials in the description right now. Go follow them in Twitter, blogs, podcasts, the lot. Boys, I just thought of this, and I need to have a conversation with you guys about this. I want to know what you guys all thought about it, because this particular thing kind of little bit got me a bit angry throughout the build-up of the game. Obviously, it came out yesterday, the whole Jorginho comment about Frank Lampard and how honest he was, and I think it's perfect. We need to have this discussion. I haven't had this discussion in my channel yet. I want to know what you guys think in the live chat about it as well. Go to you, Nishal, my man. For me, personally, I literally saw nothing wrong with that. I really didn't see anything wrong with that. He starts the quote by saying, if I am being sincere, I am being sincere here. Frank Lampard is the legend, and he, due to that particular status, he probably skipped a few, beats in the middle and got this big job, and it probably just came a bit too early for him. I don't think he said anything that we don't know. I feel like it's not like, oh my God, how dare you say that, Jorginho? We never thought like that. I can't believe you spoke about Frank Lampard like that. But it's crazy how the timeline has reacted to that, to the point where a lot were saying that they can't wait till the fans come back to boo him. I'm like, am I missing something here? Because Rob Green, literally during the Sarri season, okay, albeit post-season, he was insulting Sarri. There's quotes left, right, and center where Rob Green actually goes out and says, mate, you don't have a plan B. You're very, transactional type of a manager. He's literally going to have that insulted Sarri, whereas Jorginho, I feel like, merely was telling us the truth. How do you feel about that, man?
I spoke about it earlier on and I saw the quotes and I read them. I didn't see any problem with them, like you. He was speaking facts. However much I love Lampard, however much I respect Jorginho, all biases aside, he was speaking absolutely spot on. There was nothing wrong with what he said. I do obviously see a problem maybe with the timing of it at this stage of the season, or maybe the circumstances of it. But for words, there's no problem with that. The only reason people are taking a problem is because it's Jorginho. And I said this on Twitter, on social media. I said people will take any opportunity to come at Jorginho. He can have a brilliant game. He can have a world-class game. Actually, I made a little joke saying he could score a winning penalty in the Champions League final and he would still be criticised. And you
still get slandered. People
still came at me for that tweet saying, yeah, but he wouldn't win that penalty. Yeah, but he's still bad. Completely missing the point. And it's just one of those things where, look, the quotes, there was nothing wrong with it, bar maybe the timing, bar maybe the circumstances of it. There was nothing defaming in there, nothing that was wrong, nothing that was offensive. In fact, let's be honest, you could ask Frank Lampard, show him those quotes and say, do you agree? Most likely, he would have said yes. He's an honest man. I feel like he would have agreed with Jorginho's comments. The only reason people are taking issue with it is because it's Jorginho. I also made the point, if it was an academy player, there would not be the same outrage. If it was a player who's more favourable within the fan base, there would not be the same outrage. But because it's Jorginho, who divides opinion for whether it's his talent, his status, his agent, whatever, because it's someone like him, people take any chance to come at him. So for me, I saw no issue, and I have no problem with players speaking out like that. If it was bad, and if it was very, offensive, for example, absolutely I would.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. People are taking this opportunity to come at a player who they don't like, who they have a problem with. And me personally, I saw no problem with it at all.
Yeah, and Raj, I want to go to two things I want to ask you is one, as Nishal said, and a lot of people have been saying, the timing. I feel like personally you can't control the timing because someone else is asking you that question. I don't think Jorginho goes out there and called the press conference by himself. Hey, I really want to talk about Frank Lampard. Please get me a press conference. He wouldn't care less about that. He got asked a question and he was sincere about it. And the other thing that I want to ask you as well, RJ, is that I know it would never be Mason Mount. I know he would never say anything like this. But had he said that, I don't think anyone reacts to it. I think everyone's like, yeah, well, he's saying the truth. How did you feel about that situation, man?
Yeah, I think it's being inflated unnecessarily, first up. I think we've had enough. I think it's fair to say we've had a pretty drama-filled week without having to focus on something so minuscule. But in many ways, it's kind of nice to get back to reality where we can criticize a player for a comment that they've made that's not even that inflammatory. But I think it's timing. But I suppose the one part that I thought maybe, it's not naive, but I thought Jorginho maybe, he would be very conscious of the fact that he polarizes the fan base. And he knows that he works hard to try to restore his image despite however good he plays or doesn't play. And he's made those comments about how he's trying to sort of win the fans back over. So surely you'll be conscious of what you say. And it's not to say that what he said was wrong or offensive, because it wasn't, objectively speaking. And I actually said at the time, like many of us, at the time Frank Lampard was appointed, we all were happy on the one hand because it's a legend, blah, blah, blah. But on the other side of the coin, again, not fun, but it's all about trying to be fair and objective. Was this too big for him too soon? And I think that was a fear that we all had, that this is going to end badly for him at some point because we're not a club renowned for its patience. So I thought what he said, like Michelle and what everybody else has said, technically wasn't wrong. The timing he couldn't control because he was asked a question and he was sincere in his response, but he could have been a little bit smarter in the way he said it. Like he could have been a bit more diplomatic. He could have just said, things don't work out sometimes. I'm sure he will continue to get back on track and we wish him all the best. He didn't have to be as insightful and sincere. But that said, I don't think what he said was bad because I agree with him. But it's just, for some, I don't know, if it was me personally, and I know what the image of me is like, why would I throw something out there to know that I'm going to get that kind of backlash? But that's just a personal opinion. That's all.
I completely get you, RJ, from that perspective. But are we now telling players not to be honest? Like, and I don't think he wasn't being brutal about it. Like, we are now telling players to be just be diplomatic. I think. Look, I completely get your point, RJ. That he should know his position in the fan base, but at the same time, the fan base shouldn't be like that towards him.
I agree.
Taryn,
I agree.
You had some points to add as well, Taryn.
Yeah, I think the thing that Nishal said about the fact that it's Jorginho, also the fact that it's Frank Lampard. If it was a different manager, if it was Antonio Conte, if it was Jose Mourinho, if it was Carlo Ancelotti, then the fan base wouldn't have this much reaction. I think people are still understandably upset about the management, how it kind of ended. I am too. He was our club legend. Number 8 is my favorite number because of Frank Lampard. I love the guy, but I feel like people kind of need to understand that, yes, he's being honest. The fact that one of our players come out and spoke the truth, that we all know that Lampard was obviously very good for opening a door for the youth to come into our club, but he wasn't ready for a job where we just lost Eden Hazard, a job that had players that needed a lot of man management The first season did very well. Whether
I was just going to
Arsenal's
say, first season, very good.
First season, very good. Whether you could say that top four was due to the fact of other teams not being as good, still, he brought in a lot of youth players. I say brought a good connect between the fans and the club for the first time in a long time. But yeah, let's be honest. I don't think Lampard was really up to scratch. And I really respect Jorginho for being honest. Maybe, like RJ said, he could have come out and been, a bit more sincere with his comments. Not straight away said he wasn't up to scratch. Maybe said, yeah, he's a very, very good manager, but some things weren't right in terms of man management, stuff like that. But yeah, I understand Jorginho, but if it was a different manager, it would have been a completely different reaction.
Yeah, no, I like this comment from the Beautiful Game. Thank you so much, Beautiful Game, for joining. Yes, you're right. Your lineup did come to fruition yesterday. You were having a very good go at us. Your lineup did come through. Is it the truth or who tells the truth? I think we're going to leave it at that particular juncture with that issue, and let everyone ponder. Let's get back into the player performance. I just wanted to have that conversation with you guys to see what your thoughts were, because that kind of got me a bit annoyed building up to the game. Let's go to you, Taryn. Let's talk about the wing backs. We've talked about Azpilicueta, so we're not going to touch too much about that. Chilwell, once again, another solid performance. Defensively very strong, gets himself that assist as well, and continues to prove to Thomas Tuchel that he is the number one left wing back in this particular position. Looking at the fixtures that are coming up, which are very, very important, do you expect Chilwell to now carry on and almost pretty much play every single game, or do you feel like there are a few games that Alonso could still see?
Yeah, fingers crossed Chilwell's okay after that challenge, because you saw the way his leg bent in. It did not look good at all, hopefully. But I've always said Chilwell is someone with very good stamina who can play every 3 days, relative to Marcos Alonso, who really, has a good game every once in 4. But this is what I wanted from Chilwell. I wanted from some consistent form. We saw the best game, I'd say, was maybe against Porto, the first leg. And I say he's kept having good performances after that. And that's what I've always said. I don't want to see inconsistency. And I feel like he has stapled his place in this team. He can play in the low block now. He can play as a counter-attacking left wing back. And the only thing I'd say is I'd like to see Chilwell alongside Hudson-Odoi, where that is 2 attacking. Yeah. I think that could really open a lot more chance to bombard your position and be too much to hand. We saw against Crystal Palace. How good was that? Yeah. Chilwell really impressed me today. I'm not going to lie. That assist, I already mentioned it. What an inch-perfect pass. A great run. Great timing to run. An inch-perfect ball to evade Souček's massive legs. What a ball. In terms of Azpilicueta, I wanted to kind of mention earlier about Azpilicueta, but I didn't really get a chance. Azpilicueta, I feel like the reason he was in there is the way he compresses is very good. He stopped the counter-attack at many occasions. He kind of swarms players a little bit better than Reece James, I'd say, Hudson-Odoi, and then prevented Lingard, prevented Fredericks, who I say got past him a few times. But Azpilicueta, in terms of those tight situations, high up the pitch, he won the ball back very well. But yeah, Chilwell, I'm very, very happy. And I think he is a player who can play against Real Madrid. He can play in the FA Cup. He's a very, very, I say, athletic guy. And yeah, I'm very happy with Chilwell. Who came on? Reece James came on as well. Didn't really do much. But in terms of Chilwell, I don't really have a bad thing to say about him today. Very, very good performance by him. And Azpilicueta, I don't think he'll play there again. But for today, yeah, very, very good from him.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. Chilwell, once again, for me, the number one left wing back, as I said, and had a fantastic game. We've got over 100 people logged in right now. Please smash the like button. Get me to at least 100 likes. Supports the channel, supports the video a lot. So please do that. Nishal, let's talk about the back three as a unit. There's a really good tweet here from London Football. A very good account out there from football Twitter perspective. Most clean sheets in Europe's top 5 leagues this season, all competition. Chelsea 29, Manchester City 28, PSG 23, Man United 23, Sevilla 23. The best defense in Europe. I mean, we've been talking a lot about, Man City's defense very highly with Ruben Diaz and whatnot. And I did mention when we were going through those clean sheet streaks. Now it's very common. Like, it doesn't even surprise me anymore that we keep getting clean sheets. But I did mention maybe a couple of months ago that if we continue like this, then some of our boys really need to be looked at for player of the month situation, player of the season contenders and whatnot. If we're going to put Ruben Diaz up there, I think slowly but surely Rudiger's name has to go in there because he's producing game after game. Christensen as well. Thiago Silva has been on and off with his injuries. Azpilicueta has been producing 7.5s almost every games. What do you think? I mean, defensively, we're now number 1 in Europe.
I mean, if you saw this 4 or 5 months ago, you wouldn't believe that seeing the state we were in defensively, even last season, the way we were defensively was so poor. We weren't doing well enough. We had so many defensive issues, defensive flaws. And the fact we fixed it not only so well, but to be competing and exceeding the likes of Manchester City, the likes of Sevilla, the likes of Manchester United deserves huge praise. And it's a collective issue. It's not just the arrival of Thiago Silva, because we have, let's be honest, seen performances with him involved where we haven't been good defensively. It's that collective spine of a back three, you know, Rudiger back in form, Christensen back in form, Azpilicueta looking comfortable as a right centre-back, Edouard Mendy really being able to communicate with his defence, even for players like Hudson-Odoi and James and Chilwell and Alonso, communicating and being much better and much more solid as wing-backs. You know, we're really seeing a collective, we're looking good in defence is basically what I'm trying to say. The word that comes to my mind. And it goes to everyone from the centre-backs to the goalkeeper to the wing-backs, even in midfielders, you know, Jorginho, N'Golo Kante, Mateo Kovacic. And it's something where we can all be really proud of and really glad to see because, like I said, we compare it to a few months earlier or last season where our defence was letting us down. We looked good in attack, we were getting goals, we were getting results, but we would be just too vulnerable and too lackluster in defence. And we fixed that now. And going forward, the fact that we've changed our priority and our main concern from being bad in defence to not scoring enough goals really says a lot about how far we've come in the last 12 months. 3 consecutive clean sheets as well against 3 very good teams deserves a huge amount of praise for Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, absolutely agree. So brilliant at defensive structure under Thomas Tuchel. And anyone, whether it be Zuma, every now and then he has a bit of lapse of concentration, but overall he's been okay as well. Christensen, Silva, Azpilicueta, Rudiger, fantastic as a package, brilliant. I'll take Mendy. Look, to be honest, not much to say about Mendy. He didn't really get called upon too many times. There was a few corners, few free kicks. He came out, he collected it. There was probably the one sort of situation where he had the ball and he was looking to distribute and he passed it, I think, to a West Ham player, but we quickly negated that. Yeah, that was pretty crazy, RJ. But besides that, I don't really have anything else to say about Mendy. You know, he didn't really get called upon. Maldini's middle finger. I preferred these 3 until the end of the season. Can't believe saying that about Rudy after the year he had last year. Yeah, it's a massive turnaround. Boys, before we get into the whole talk about Thomas Tuchel, because we always like to finish things off with Thomas Tuchel and the upcoming fixtures. We did say we want to talk about the man of the match. Live chat, please go berserk. Let us know your man of the match once again. I know a few people had some split decisions. I haven't had a selection here, so let's make the selection together. I don't know. I don't really think I can give it to Timo Werner, although he scored the goal and he's had some very good work rate, but he missed some big chances, man. So I'm not really sure if I can give him the man of the match. Ben Chilwell is probably a good shot. And N'Golo Kante definitely a very good shot. Mason Mount, look, was it really a man of the match kind of performance? I don't think so. Very good game. I'll go to you first up, RJ. Who's your pick?
Yeah, I'm probably going to show my.
By the way, it can be other as well. It doesn't have to be any of these 4.
Yeah, no, fair call. I think this is a fair list to choose from, to be honest. I'm split between the top 2, between Mount and Kante, and I know probably Mason Mount's probably the more popular choice, but good shout from the beautiful game about Chile. But yeah, again, I'm just so impressed with the amount of work that Kante does on both sides of the pitch that probably doesn't get fully appreciated. So I'd probably go him, but I think Mason Mount would probably get it just over Werner, because a lot of people like to pick the goal scorer in these things.
No, I'm sort of kneeling towards N'Golo Kante as well. Taryn, your man of the match.
Okay, you're going to have to believe me a bit, guys. I promise I'm not being biased. I generally think...
I knew you were going to do this.
Honestly,
he was not going to miss a chance. No way.
He just scored the first goal in 2 months. Give me a break, please. I'm being genuinely fair. I think he was superb today. I genuinely think he was amazing. His hold-up play, his finish, let's not forget, the miss was just, I don't know. Let's think similar to West Brom. Let's just forget about that. But he was, I think he was seriously amazing today. His running of the channels, his passing, his first touch. You can't past him. N'Golo Kante is probably the nearest, I'd say, the way he was back to his Conte best. But yeah, come on, guys, Timo Werner. Let's just click the button. Come on, man. Just click
I just couldn't give it to him because I just thought, you know why, Taron? Because if that chance they end up scoring a 95th minute equaliser, we would blow up. We would blow up.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I couldn't do it. But
they didn't. So yeah, so I guess
I get you, Taron, man. I completely get you. Nishal, what's your thoughts?
I was very, very torn on man of a match, and it's very rare that I go into the game and think I really don't know. But I am going to go for Timo Werner.
Yeah,
it wasn't a perfect performance. He should have done better. He wasn't above maybe a 7 or an 8. But if we didn't have that goal, if he didn't have his contribution, we're not winning that game. And yes, it's a very cliche thing to say. I don't like going for the goal score all the time because that's the easy choice. And I think especially as I've learned more about football, you realise it's more about who has the actual contribution rather than whose name is in the papers. But Timo Werner was the man who made that difference for me today. He got the goal. He was crucial in that goal, not only for getting the final touch and putting it in the back of the net, but there the hold-up play, the run into the box, dictating that attack. We look at throughout the game as well. He was positive throughout, making the right runs, making the chances, really putting pressure on West Ham's defence. Without Timo Werner, we're not winning that game. N'Golo Kante, Ben Chilwell, Mason Mount, you can make the exact same argument. But with all of them, if you take them away, we're arguably still coming away with a 0-0 or something. But without Timo, we're not winning it. So Timo Werner is my man of a match.
Look, you've sold a really, really good argument there, Nishal, for Timo Werner, and Taron as well. Some emotional talks there for Timo Werner. But obviously the panel is split. We've gone with Kante as well. And the live chat is split as well. Maldini's middle finger has gone for Money Mace, no discussion, man of the match. A whole heap of Chilwell, comments that are coming through. Timo from Ali Reza has said, gives him good vibes. And then, Francis, great pass from Chilwell. Oh, my days. We're going to have a very difficult selection here. Look, I'm going to be sentimental. I know live chat's probably not going to like this, but the boys are wanting this. And why not? Let's reward him. And there you go, boys. Mason Mount leads at 39.4. I don't know how this is happening. But yeah, Mace is the fan favorite, and that's probably why he keeps getting these opportunities. But let's talk a little bit about Thomas Tuchel to end things here. Boys, we've got Real Madrid coming up. We'll go to you, RJ. Big game. I want to beat Real Madrid. It's a grudge match for me for all the stuff that Florentino Perez has said. I don't want to take Real Madrid lightly, though. It looks like Eden Hazard is getting back to fitness. Looks like Ramos is getting back to fitness. I think there was some talks about Carvajal getting back to fitness as well. So these guys, the one thing they do know very well is they know Champions League football very, very well. But is the first leg away or at home?
It's away.
Away. We need to ensure that we get a clean sheet. Whether it's 0-0, I don't care. But if we can get a clean sheet away from home, that'll be fantastic. If we can sneak a 1-0 victory over there, brilliant. I think we're good enough to get that. Thomas Tuchel so far, look, we were saying in our preview yesterday, he needs to start winning games against West Ham and the Southamptons and all of that. We need to start beating these kind of teams. No disrespect to West Ham, they've been fantastic, but at the end of the day, in the broader spectrum of things, they're a mid-table team, really. They've just outperformed this season. I'm glad we got that victory. We're in that top 4 race. We're in the FA Cup final, Champions League semi-final. RJ, your thoughts, man, about Tommy Tuchel?
Yeah, what can you say apart from he deserves the praise and just everything that he's done from the first interview where he turned up with his humility, sincerity, and his boldness, for a better use of a term. But he's just the way he's come about fixing a very fractured sort of environment and trying to get us back into a path of sustainable success. I've got nothing but absolute praise for him. I just think, as Miz, that I write these monthly deep dives for the Chelsea Social on our performances each month. And I suppose if I was going to offer some sort of constructive criticism, it's more on terms of trying to have a little bit more end product from a goal scoring perspective. But he's not the one physically out there missing the chances. So I'm a little bit guarded in that criticism. But I think overall, we continue to turn up for the big games that matter, that genuinely matter. And I think that we just tend to struggle a little bit against the teams that we're, with all due respect, expected to put away. So I think overall, he's been performing very well And I think the way he conducts himself, he's very honest, sincere, and he's very tactically astute. And I love the passion he has. And I think the way he's delivered so far and his promise to help us get that success, ultimately that success will be defined over the next month or so. But so far the signs are positive, and long may his good form continue.
No, for sure. This picture's for Taryn, my boy. There's him giving you a thumbs up. But yeah, Taryn, what's your thoughts about Thomas Tuchel and our situation at the moment?
I just had quite an interesting thought what RJ was kind of discussing. Really good points, Raj. First of all, I'd like to say check out all of RJ's monthly pieces. Really detailed, everything you need for monthly pieces. Amazing. RJ's an amazing writer. But in terms of Thomas Tuchel, I feel like he saw, even under Lampard, we were missing so many chances. He maybe thought, do you know what, I'm going to focus on the defence here. I'm going to make sure we're not conceding goals. We're not going to rely on these strikers who are not clearly in confidence. I'm not going to try and go too far. I've only been in the job a few months. I'm going to try and we're a team nobody wants to play against is right. We beat so many top teams already. It's just like we said, as soon as we're beating these small teams, we're going to be up there, challenging close to Man City, closer to even in Europe with the likes of Bayern Munich, I feel like. But I feel like he's definitely saw that we were weak in finishing chances, and credit to him, the work he's done with our defence is absolutely immaculate. Another clean sheet, the most clean sheets in Europe this season. Amazing. Seriously amazing. Amazing. I was really excited when Thomas Tuchel came in for attacking football, but we're winning games, and what can you complain about that? We're in the top 4 by 3 points, even on goal difference superior. So, big up Thomas Tuchel.
No, 100%, man. I mean, he's done a madness, made us so defensively fantastic. And, if he can keep a clean sheet, all he needs is one goal to win. That's pretty much what the mantra has been at the moment. Nisha, your thoughts on Thomas Tuchel and our matchups that are coming up, especially the Real Madrid one?
Who would have thought about the start of a week? We'd be ending the week so positively, so happily, and been so pleased that we're back in the top 4 and with a solid position. It's been a very hectic week, but a great one. We've come away with another really good result, massive must-win game that we needed to win, and we put in a good performance at the end of the day. We're back in top 4 in a really solid position, 3 points clear with just 5 games to go. We're getting closer, and especially when we consider for the last 3-4 seasons, we've been stuck in this top 4 battle until the final day. If we can secure this earlier, whether it's a game earlier, 3 games earlier, we're in a brilliant position, especially considering we've got a cup final coming up in just a few weeks. We've got a huge Champions League semi-final coming up against Real Madrid. We have bigger fish to fry elsewhere. So if we can kill this off soon and secure our top 4 place in the coming weeks, we're in a much better position. Tuchel always deserves praise. He set us up brilliantly defensively. We've got the winning machine in motion. We're seeing what we are capable of with the players, with a manager. It's about building on this, seeing what we need to improve, seeing what we need to work on, and then really challenging for the title next season, which we should have done this season. But of course, different circumstances meant we couldn't. But I'm really pleased. Massive game ahead. First meeting of Real Madrid in 23 years. So it's going to be a big one in Madrid, and I cannot wait for it. And it's going to be a massive game and a massive few weeks to finish off what has been a very tumultuous season for Chelsea. If you enjoyed what you heard, you can find all of my work on nishosblog.com, articles, videos, podcasts, all there on nishosblog.com. You can follow me on Twitter at @nishol_sp, and you can find all of the panel, all of the videos, article, podcasts, everything from Miz, from RJ, from Taryn. Thank you very much for listening today.
Nah, brilliant, man, brilliant. Now, well said, Nishal. Please, everyone, all the socials in the description right now. Follow. That's what you got to do. Smash the like button as well. This is the Premier League table at the moment. Liverpool had a draw. Obviously, we beat West Ham. So beautiful weekend for us moving into the Real Madrid game. We've got 3 points ahead of West Ham, 4 points ahead of Liverpool. But the task isn't over. We've got Fulham, and we should try and capitalize. Obviously, I think Liverpool, they've got an interesting match coming up. It might be Man United, so there's some points to be dropped there. West Ham do have an easy run in, but I don't think anything is easy for West Ham or anyone, to be honest. So we'll see how that goes. And it really now sets us up nicely for Leicester down the track. We do have a match against Leicester, not just in the FA Cup, but we have them in the Premier League. If we can secure that 3rd position, wow, fantastic. That'd be great. But yeah, guys, as I said, please take the opportunity right now before we stop the stream. 90 people, close to 120 at one stage there was. please take the opportunity to smash that like button. As I said, if you've enjoyed this review, hit the like button. It's free, helps the channel out a lot, helps the video a lot as well. And for all my panelists, all of their socials in the description. Follow them in Twitter. You're going to enjoy the interactions with them. If you guys are absolute football fanatics, you're going to enjoy the interactions with these people. So go out there and follow them. So guys, once again, the live chat been brilliant. Thank you so much. I am going to be streaming tomorrow. I don't know exactly which time. So do look out for the comment in the community section in YouTube. I will have Matisse and Eunice. So all you can eat Chelsea is coming to the other side of the coin for Sunday. So look out for that. It's going to be a fantastic show. And then following that, I think it will be on Monday. I will get the boys and Nishal as well. I'll have a conversation with everyone what the team is going to be. And we're going to do the preview for Real Madrid. And Advaid, this particular person who's actually in the stream, he's going to be part of the show because he is our Real Madrid expert that we're going to bring in. He follows Real Madrid. So we're going to bring in Advaid. So yeah, do look out for that. Those are the next few things that are coming up, guys. And yeah, enjoy the weekend. Stay happy, stay safe. Until next time, everyone. See ya.